Sadie, I'm coming your way first because I was reading a quote that Brendan had given that said, like, he was so wowed by how you were able to bring her internal world to life, like right before his eyes the second you stepped in the door. So it was making me wonder, is there any like seemingly small detail that we don't necessarily see on screen or hear about via dialogue that was important to you to flesh out that world that we can feel when we watch the film?
I mean, I think with Ellie, she just has a superpower with like observing people, and I feel like the wheels are just constantly turning. And for me, I think that was probably it, just like constantly reading every single facial expression that Brendan makes. I guess I would say that. Yeah.
You feel it while you're watching your performance. I always had my eye on you because I needed to know how you were assessing everything that was happening around you. Hong, for you, I caught a quote that you had said about Darren, that he has a way of being so technically brilliant, it can make you think he's not feeling the emotions, but then you realize he is. And that was making me wonder, when did you process that? And is it scary when you think your director isn't feeling the emotion initially before you realize that he is?
I think it was because we had a 3-week rehearsal period before we started filming, and I went into that rehearsal period thinking that it would be just a time for the actors to just talk about their characters for a bit. But we hit the ground running for that rehearsal. We started blocking things almost immediately. So that was took some adjustment. It felt restrictive at first, but then within that we were able to play. It was just like finding out the parameters of your sandbox and then getting to like really go buck wild within that, even though it's a very tiny, tiny little sandbox.
It seems like a really unique sandbox to get to play in, and like a really unique way of actually shooting a movie too. So is there any part of the process that was unique to making The Whale that you both wish you could experience on another set going forward, even if it's not, a play adaptation in a single location that calls for that kind of shooting style?
And for me, it was that rehearsal process, and not just like blocking everything out, but also Darren kind of encouraged us to just like sit and watch all the other scenes that were being rehearsed. And I don't know, I think that was just a great way to like focus us all and bond, and just a great bonding experience. So yeah, I mean, I would say just the way that the rehearsal process was approached. I want to do that on everything now.
Yeah, it's so important for you to know what's going on with the other characters, even if you're not necessarily in the scene with them, because then everybody knows what movie that they're making. We're all making the same movie. And, coming out of COVID, the lockdown, and getting to work on The Whale as the very first project just felt like a miracle. It was so ambitious in terms of what they were trying to do, but the characters themselves were just so rich, and it's based off of a play, and they decided to keep it that intimate instead of, adding 20 superfluous characters because we can. It's a movie. It just felt really incredible.
I have so many follow-up questions about this rehearsal process and the idea of being able to watch other people do their scenes even when you're not in them. First, let's go with, is there anything while observing you saw another The Whale cast member do that made you say, like, my God, that was impressive. I want to take that technique, put it in my back pocket, and try it myself one day?
Oh yeah, there was one for you where Darren and I just shared a look because we were just like, our jaws just dropped for this one scene where you're yelling at Brendan. And that was on set. That wasn't in the rehearsal process. And I was sitting on an apple box, like off camera, and I was just like, my God, just a powerhouse. So like that was like a key memory for me.
Anything come to mind, huh?
Well, I remember just even before getting to work with Sadie, I had met with the costume designer, Danny, and he was talking about Sadie and he said something that I will remember. Her talent is so accessible to her. And I was like, that is a perfect way of putting it. Once I saw her, I was like, she's incredible. She's amazing.
That makes me so happy. What a beautiful description, too. I'll add a second part to that is more personal to you, because I could talk about the value of a good scene partner all day long, and that seems vital to making a film like this. So was there ever a time on set when a scene partner gave you something special that you really appreciated and maybe helped you access something in your own character that you wouldn't have been able to without them?
I think Brendan is amazing, and I had to do prosthetics a little bit for another movie, but not to the extent that Brendan had to for this film. And I tell you, no actor wakes up wanting to wear over 100 pounds of prosthetics. It's a very difficult challenge to act through all of that. And the getting to watch Brendan be so gracious while all of these people were buzzing around him, adjusting different things, for him to be able to compartmentalize all of that and give the performance that he gave. I will take inspiration from that on every project that I do moving forward, because he could have easily been very cranky, and he wasn't. He was just an absolute angel.
How about you, Sadie? Anything comes to mind with a scene partner who brought something out of your character?
I mean, I think I would say the same thing, but also for you. You had like an infant at home, and yet you were choosing to just work on not just any project, but something so like draining like this. So that was really inspiring. I think for me, I was like, oh, yeah, like, yes, I can show up and know my lines and be as prepared as possible, because everyone around us it was just, we all understood how special this was, and we're all so eager to make it and, you know, push past the challenges that came with it.
This really is like a special kind of performance showcase, because I've seen you both deliver big so many times at this point, but given the special nature of this production and how challenging the material is, looking back when you're sitting there watching the final film, is there any particular scene of your own that makes you go like, my God, I'm so proud of myself that I pulled that off, and if I can do that, I can do anything going forward?
I think a little bit different. I think it was more, there was one scene that I didn't think Darren would use the take that he did, and I was so happy that he kept it in the movie, because we had a little bit of a conversation afterwards where he was like, I don't think that's the road we want to go down, and I don't know what happened, but he kept it in the movie.
I need to know.
I know, now I'm really curious. Can you give us a hint?
It's the one when Charlie scares me.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
How about for you, Sadie?
Yeah, I mean, I think there'd be some certain scenes where you would just, I'm thinking of one in particular that I won't say, but like where I just kind of left being like, man, like I should have tried it this way, or you just kind of like get in your head about it. But I think like watching the finished product, it just all, like, everything just clicked. And I don't think I've ever felt as proud of something as I have for this project. So just in general. But yeah, very, very happy with the outcome for sure.
You should be. This is really something else. And you two are just crushing it this year. My God. Thank you for your time. Congratulations on The Whale.
Thank you.